Okay, boys, here we go.
All right, boys, let's have some fun.
Welcome to the Galbraith Report, another chance for us to take a look at what's been happening across the NHL and, of course, deep into the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to take a look at the World Championships as well. I'm Craig Anderson, a media man from Scotland. With me, former ice hockey player Jade Galbraith, located in the heart of Canada. How are you, sir?
Good, buddy. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad. We've been getting great weather, so I hate it. I hate it when it's too hot, so that's what it's like today. And a Scotsman moaning about the weather. What's that all about?
Yeah, that's weird, eh? Again, if it's not raining, you guys aren't happy, eh?
Yeah, 100%. What about these playoffs? So we texted earlier about the game last night. This is Monday as we record. The Golden Knights against Avalanche, Game 3. That in itself, that was quite the spectacle, wasn't it? Let's start with that one.
Holy, last night's game? Frig, man. I couldn't believe, we've talked about this before, is I don't know what's going on with these coaches. If they just, me personally, if I'm up 3-0, I'm locking into a friggin' trap 100%. I'm not giving the other team any zone and neutral zone speed coming into the zone. They're going to have to grind out every single goal. Colorado, I picked Colorado to come through. Again, I didn't really know who was going to come through. There's a lot of good teams, but President's Trophy teams, right? No President's Trophy teams ever win the Stanley Cup. It's been so long since one won. So
2013, I looked at it earlier. 2013, the Blackhawks.
2013. And then how many, I got to look that up at some point. I don't know. I want to know how many have won the Stanley Cup other than that year, because it just seems none of the first place teams ever win. It's just, or not first place, none of the first overall teams win, man. Colorado had leads in 2 of the 3 games. Wow. Vegas, man, they're their third periods it's like they're a different team. Colorado's going around loving life, doing what they're doing, and then the third period hits, and it's like it's an AHL team against the Vegas Golden Knights, and then that's what it looks like. It's like they forgot how to play hockey. It's like they forgot how to dump pucks, and it's like they forgot how to pass. It's like they forgot how to play D zone. It's like they forgot how to back check. It's pretty crazy how bad in this day and age you can score 3 goals in 1 period in the conference finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs against the best team in the NHL. It's just, you know what? I love it. I love seeing that. But I'll tell you right now, the blown leads in the NHL, like the NHL, this Stanley Cup, man. Last year I saw a little bit of it, but this year, I just can't believe it. How are you up 2-3 goals and going into the third period and then blowing it?
Yeah,
it's and not just blowing it and going to overtime. They lost in regulation. That's crazy, man. How? If I'm Colorado, they're done. They're totally done. There's no way in the world they will lose this series. There's no way. No. I'll never do a podcast again. I'll never do anything. I won't. I will never predict anything again. But again, Vegas, I like what I was telling you about Eichel. Like that guy, he's my Conn Smythe Trophy winner right now. Again, I like Carolina. I like Dobeš. He's probably the second runner up in the Conn Smythe right now. But I know Marner's up there with all the points. But Eichel, man, that guy, nothing. He's unbelievable. He is absolutely unbelievable this playoffs. I absolutely can't believe that I didn't see this side of him. He's like, yeah, you're not scoring against me. Not a chance you're scoring against me. There is no way. The defense, the back pressure, and he's putting up points too. That's the thing about this is he's doing everything you need to do. It's very impressive for me. He's second in playoff scoring right now, right? It's crazy, and he's playing against the other team's best lines. Marner's unbelievable too. Don't get me wrong, but those two together are something else, something special, and man, it's pretty to watch. And with Stone coming back, I thought Stone coming back wouldn't be a liability. Don't get me wrong. I love Stone's game. He's one of the smartest players in the NHL by far. His hockey IQ is top notch. But I thought with the speed of Colorado would have put him at a disadvantage. But man, he thinks his way around the ice. So tell you, I just couldn't believe it. It's just one of those. I don't know. You just. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about Colorado there. They got all the swagger, all this and that, and maybe they thought that they could, skill their way to winning the cup. But look what Edmonton tried to skill their way to the Stanley Cup. They got there, but then what happened? They ran into a buzzsaw called the Florida Panthers, who grind you down like crazy. Yeah. And Vegas looks a lot like the Panthers right now. Tortorella has got them going. I love it. I think I looked at a lot of sites, a lot of places, and every single place I looked pre-series said Colorado would win. Every single place I saw. So we all took the wrong guy, and as an underdog, you love that stuff. So anyway, I'm really, really shocked at how Colorado's just pretty much given up.
Yeah, I feel like we should offer an apology just by tipping them. I think we cursed them going into this series. But I think if you look back at the games, maybe the signs were there. Maybe I wrote a piece on my website the other day about Avalanche's season maybe starting to unravel, and that was after Game 2. I wrote that, where the fact that they were giving up leads, they had the blip against the Minnesota Wild in Game 3 of the previous round.
Yeah.
And then they were giving up 3 goals before they were starting to find themselves back into games. As well as I do, you give up 3 goals, you're making your job a lot harder. If you can get that back, great. Of course, in this case, Game 3 against Vegas, they go 3-0 up in the first period, and they were excellent in the first period. You've got to give them due credit for that. But Vegas, I just feel Mark Stone's goal early in the second period really turned the momentum. Yep. And I think that was huge. Colorado have been so good. They made a lot of the fact Cale Makar was missing in the first 2 games, and I thought he was decent in the first period. And then I don't know if Cale Makar coming back really made that much of a difference. I'm not fully convinced he was either not fully fit, but he was close to being fully fit. He was still struggling. They left his decision at the last possible minute. Nathan McKinnon got hurt late on as well. I feel he shouldn't have been on the ice towards the end, because I don't think, with the greatest of respect, it wasn't helping their cause. As good as Nathan McKinnon is, a half-fit Nathan McKinnon you would always have there, but it wasn't helping them at all. And it was struggling. I've got to wonder about Wedgwood as well. I wondered if, Jared Bednar was going to make a decision about him pre-game, leave him out and put in the young lad Blackwood, but he didn't. He stuck with Wedgwood. I wonder if he'll do that going into Game 4 now. There's so many questions about Colorado. History and form is very much against them at this stage. I think I saw that it was after the 2 games at home that they lost. I think no team had ever come back from a 2-0 deficit, having lost their first 2 home games since 1945, the Detroit Red Wings. So, as I say, history and form against them as well. So, everything suggests it's going to be Vegas. I've got to talk about Carter Hart as well. I saw a piece about him a few weeks ago, and I couldn't find it. And it seemed to suggest at the time that Vegas, he was their weak link. I've not seen that. I think he's been excellent as well. And I also noted on social media he's a bit of a divisive figure, I think, because of his part in the sex scandal involving Hockey Canada. I should point out, for context, that they did go to trial and he was acquitted, and Vegas picked him up at the start of the year. So let's close that loop on it. Yeah. But let's not get into that. But let's talk about his form on the ice. He's been excellent. He's been absolutely superb. Keeping guys like that at bay. That's a hell of a job from him.
You know what? Again, I said it at the start too. He's unproven for sure. And as a goalie being unproven, even if you're proven, it's tough to win a Stanley Cup. Look at friggin' Skinner gets to the Stanley Cup finals 2 times in a row, and he can't pull it out, right? Again, it's hard. Like I say this, the goalie position's the hardest position in the NHL in hockey. It's the hardest position. There's 4 or 5 elite goalies who will get you to the playoffs every season, will do their thing, can win Stanley Cups. But then there's that second ring of 10 to 12 that, are tough. They haven't won the Stanley Cup. They have great stats, but they can't win the big game. And Hart, because of what happened, whatever that side of things is, he's been out of the game for so long. He's playing. I don't know if he was playing in Europe or playing wherever. Anyway. That's really tough to not play at the NHL level, no matter if you're a player, but especially as a goalie, because that's elite. Like the elite shooters, elite players, anybody can score. It's really tough. So kudos to him coming back. Kudos to the Vegas Golden Knights for giving him an opportunity. And again, it's a double-edged sword with him. If he does unbelievable, he is the savior. If he doesn't, his career is probably over because, again, they took a chance on him. He couldn't perform. So the ball was in his court, or the puck was in his crease, I guess you could say. And he really showed me something because, again, the goaltending position is very, very hard to be in that top echelon. It's just impossible to win the Vezina unless you're one of those top 5-6 goalies. Like, look at Vasilevsky. Bobrovsky wins Stanley Cups. He's not very good regular season, but when he gets to the playoffs and he's the best goalie in the world by far. I don't know. Vasilevsky's great too. Those two are pretty close, but Bobrovsky. But Hart, man, I'm telling you right now, if they sweep, which I think they'll sweep because Makar's probably not going to play. He's not going to risk another injury, I don't think. And unless they play him as a seventh defenseman and just play him power play and play him nothing else, that's what I would do. I would play him just power play. That is it. And every other shift, I know he'll probably want to play. He's a tough kid. McKinnon will probably want to play too. I would limit his minutes as well. Again, it's just Vegas is – they look at the confidence they have now. Oh, we're down 3-0. We can win anyway. So if Colorado gets up 1-0, Vegas will just sit back and be like, okay, we'll just grind it out like they've been doing. And I'll tell you right now, they're playing, and people don't realize this, but Tortorella's won the Stanley Cup, and his systems are. He's great. He is great, like Paul Maurice, at getting his players, like Rod Brind'Amour, getting his players to buy into something. Eichel is an elite talent. He should be getting 120 points. He should be up there with the league leaders. But I guarantee he said to himself, I want that feeling again of winning a Stanley Cup again. He says that all the time. All his interviews is the best feeling, the ride he went to. And I wasn't a big fan of Eichel. In Buffalo, he kind of looked like he was a selfish guy. But now you're hearing he really wanted to win, and he couldn't get that team going, and that's why he left. And I agree with him. And now he is a leader, man. And I'm starting to really turn and really, like that kid. And man, it just seems so effortless. So Vegas, I think they're a mountain that Colorado can't climb. It's over for Colorado. Maybe they'll be able to pull one out, but the next game's in Vegas, and again, I just don't think they have enough.
Let's talk about, we spoke last week about Vegas and the injustice. Remember, we spoke about the media blackout they had. Yeah, almost created like a siege mentality. Game 3, there was the incident where Avalanche were 2 goals to 0 up. Dorofeyev scored, or so we thought. It went to review. They wiped it out straight away. They looked at it again. They still wiped it out. They kept the decision. Did you? Well, I'm assuming you saw that as well. There was the thing that maybe it hit his glove, and I was convinced. I think the first few replays it showed, it looked as though it hit his glove, but then there was another angle from right behind the goal where it hit the tape at the top of the stick. So suddenly it's one of those ones you look at it 4 or 5 times, you go, oh no, that's not a goal, that's not a goal, and then you go, oh, hold on a minute, that could have been a goal. What did you make of that one?
The video replay to me is good at times, and you can get in a lot of trouble because there's a lot of cameras that are in the net and around the net, and the NHL does a really good job at finding all those angles. But even if it's a slight, like if it's a millimeter here or there, the team that scored the goal and it was called the goal is always going to be like, oh, it's a right call. And if you get scored on against, oh, I don't know, man, and then everybody's against you. So if it goes against you, you can use it for fuel. Yeah. With the team, with the media trying to get, a pity call here, a pity call there, because I guarantee it, the league talks to the refs. If the refs made a bad call, they're going to be like, well, you got to be a little. There's always makeup calls. You've seen it in hockey many times. Bad call goes one way, team loses. The next game, guaranteed, there's going to be a call on the other side. That's just the way hockey goes. I agree with that, and I disagree with that, because just because you made a bad call doesn't mean the team deserves a call. But as a player, as a coach, hey, we got a couple calls, we got the game. The next game, they're going to be reffing way harder on my side than the other, and we're going to probably have some calls called against us. So they know all that. They've been through all that. Tortorella, you watched him on the bench a few times with a few calls, and he
argued every single call, didn't he? Shook his head at every single one.
He smiles and he shakes his head. That's the way he does it now. He doesn't lose his mind. He doesn't go crazy. He's really learned to manage his emotions, and that's something that, as a hothead myself, I have had to do the same thing. Is refs don't get they're not accountable. They can make a bad call, and what they'll say to you is, "Hey, sorry, I made that call. There's nothing I can do." You yell at a ref, scream at a ref, tell them where to go and how to get there. You get kicked out of the game because they made a bad call. There's no accountability. So there's no sense, and I know he's learned this, there's no sense in getting them on the bad side. Yeah. I know the feeling. A ref makes a bad call, I call him out on it, and I get kicked out of the game. That's the way it's always going to be. Refs have the power dynamic. You make a bad gesture, say something, and Tortorella was that guy. He would call you out on everything. And I like that because refs need the accountability. But on the other hand, they're only going to take so much. And he realized, if I want to get back to the NHL and I want to start to win some games, I can't put my team behind the 8 ball by getting penalties, get kicked out of games. So when he's smiling, believe me, inside he's on fire. The smile is masking all that stuff. So I love the way he's doing it. Because the refs know when he's smiling, he's pissed off. So they get the hint. So again, Torts I love him, man. That guy, never met the guy. That's some guy. Definitely, if I could have dinner with 4 coaches in the NHL, he'd be one of them, 100%. So,
what would you cook?
What would I cook?
Yeah, what would you cook?
I do a mean tortellini marinara baked with cheese with teriyaki chicken breast.
Nice. Tortellini for Tortorella. Brilliant.
Of course, I can cook chicken and stuff on the barbecue and put a salad together, but that's my thing that I take a long time with. But again, Tortorella, love him. I think I think Vegas is going to sweep, and then Vegas will be waiting for Colorado, Montreal, or Carolina, Montreal. So they're going to have a lot of rest, and they will be ready to go.
Yeah, I'm also curious as well. I actually wrote one name down here, and I'm going to throw it at you, and I'm going to ask you, what do you think he's thinking? Bruce Cassidy, the Vegas coach who was let go with 8 regular season games to go, seeing this Vegas team where they are now. What is he thinking right now, I wonder?
Wow, that's an excellent question, Craig. I've been watching, about Edmonton crying about Vegas not letting Cassidy go and interview and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Again, that's aside, but that's a good question. Now, again, he's probably shocked that he got fired because they were in the playoffs, and usually a team going into the playoffs is going to make a move like that. So what I'm thinking is he must have done something, or the players that just couldn't handle him, or because you only get fired if your head guys, your best players, go to management and say, hey, we can't play for this guy. We need somebody else in here. This isn't, we're going into the playoffs. We need, so there's no way he got fired for any other reason than the players. So he's probably happy to be out of there. But on the other side is if he just maybe didn't be a certain way or whatever, he could be going to the Stanley Cup Finals with Vegas right now. So tough situation for him, but there must have been a reason why he was fired, or there's no way a team lets him go. So now look at the other side of things. The players, that team's on fire right now. So I think Tortorella coming in, management, like did you see that? I don't know if there's an article or whatever about how cutthroat Vegas has been in the last 4 years. I recall seeing something at the time when they fired Cassidy and they brought in Tortorella, how it worked for so long and they made a change. And I think more or less every single time it's been a gamble. At some stage in the season, it's left you going, oh, why have they done that? And of course, it's proved to have worked out. I think they did the very thing with Cassidy, if I remember rightly. It was an unusual time of the season, but it worked out because he got them some degree of success, and they did exactly the same thing with him and later Tortorella. Yeah, and there was a couple other coaches that people were, or there's a assistant GM or a couple assistant coaches that were confronted and were asked, the other teams asked to interview them for jobs and stuff, and they weren't. But you're still part of the organization, but you're not, right? You let go or whatever, or your contract isn't going to be renewed and stuff like that. So other teams will find that out, and agents will call them, blah blah blah. But I know a couple other teams have been trying to get a hold of other personnel from Vegas to interview, And they've been no. And they're really sticking it to it. And a lot of teams in the league are pretty pissed off because it's a gentleman's kind of game. If you fire a guy, he's still under contract. You're still paying that guy. Why would you want him talking to another team? The reason I wouldn't want that is that coach is going to be mad. He might give out some systems to a couple, maybe some guys that are, not pretty shady, and they're going to go tell other teams, or, you know what I mean? It is a cutthroat business out there. So Vegas asking them not giving them permission is a lot of gamesmanship. And I guarantee after the season's over, that they'll have permission to talk to Cassie all they want. But I think during this run, they don't want to give anything away. And I agree with that. I don't think any team should ask to talk to somebody that's still involved either. Now, again, it's always been that way, but I think Vegas is, and all the other teams are going to be like, you know what, they're right. Now, if it's a non-playoff team, who gives a shit? But they're going for a Stanley Cup, and I wouldn't want to give anybody the chance to talk to any of my staff because of, a little bit of information can help a team. Believe me, just the littlest bit. And, maybe asking if some guys are hurt, asking this or that. Now, that's pretty shady. And of Cassidy to sell out his team, even though he's fired, that's another story. I'm not saying that any of that happens, but you got to think of the gamesmanship on that side of things. And Vegas is tight-lipped, and they're not letting anything go. And I would be the same way.
Well, that's the West covered. What about the East? Carolina Hurricanes against Montreal Canadiens, 1-1 after 2 games so far in that series. Hurricanes had to wait 11 days for their next round. It's the second longest a team has had to wait between rounds before playing. Of course, there was nothing they could do about it. The Canadiens had to see off Buffalo Sabres in 7. Game 1 was, quite something. Canadiens winning by 6-2, and you could see the team that was sharp against the team that weren't so. But the Hurricanes recovered to win 3-2 in overtime in Game 2. I'm enjoying this series, Jade. I think this could go the distance, but whether the Canadiens have got the stamina for it's quite something. Looking back on Game 1, as I mentioned, the 11-day rest, we wondered in the last edition if it was going to be an issue. Despite scoring early when they did, it did become an issue, didn't it? You could see that they lacked that sharpness, the Hurricanes.
Yeah, they got out to 1-goal lead right off the bat, and you thought, they were going to just keep rolling and do what they do in Game 1s. They haven't let a goal in both series in Game 1. So after the first goal, Montreal, they're a bounce back. Like you watch Buffalo, whenever Buffalo got a goal, Montreal would get the pressure back right away. Like they're well coached. Their team is just relentless. Like most of the teams that are all 4 of the teams that are in the conference finals, they're not there because they just give up. Right, 1 goal in the first minute or 2 minutes doesn't matter. Yeah. It sucks. Especially don't want to give that up. But the fact that they scored, 4 unanswered or 3 unanswered after that, yep. Boom, 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 boom. That is something Carolina was not ready for. Not at all. Coaches down to everybody was not players. They were not ready for that pushback. They thought, business as usual. We're going to grind them down, blah, blah, blah. Now, again, I say this the last however many games. That Dobeš, he is the reason why they're there. That guy makes the big save whenever they need it, and they feed off that. I've never seen a team score more goals after a big save. It happens a lot, but you don't see it near as much as it's going with Montreal right now. He'd make a big save, they go down and score. That happens once in a while, but with Montreal, it seems to happen all the time. They feed off Dobeš big time. So the fact that he's playing Game 1 when they got up 3-1, I knew it was over because Carolina, they were just shell shocked. They didn't know what to do. Yeah, they had no answers. Right, so that game, I just thought it was an anomaly, a blip on the radar screen, which Game 2 shocked me as well. Montreal had 4 shots in the first 2 periods, and it was 2-1 or something after that, or it was 1-1.
It was 1-1. Yeah, 1-1 after the first.
How do you get 4 shots and you're tied going into the third period? So the horseshoe in their ass right now is something else with Montreal, man. Like, again, you ask all the Tampa Bay guys too. I bet you they're like, man, can't believe that how lucky these guys were. Now, I say luck sometimes when it happens once in a blue moon, but this team, I guess it's not luck. I guess they're just shooting percentage is just out of this world. So, again, their goalie is keeping them in the games, but Carolina grinded them into a fine powder that last game. It was very nice to watch. The first two periods, it should have been 6-1, to tell you the truth, 5-6-1. So, again, the fact that Montreal tied it up, Carolina went up 2-1, and Montreal tied it up again. When it went to overtime, if Carolina loses that game, Montreal wins the series. Montreal, I just firmly believe that. I said to my guys that I talked to, they were in agreement. If Montreal goes up 2-0 on the road, just like Vegas, it's going to be so hard to win in Montreal when you're down 2-0. And the fact that they pulled it out, they got the goal from a likely guy as well. Carolina's getting a lot of goals from guys that they don't really see scoring. So the fact that they pulled that out gives them the confidence now going into the game 3 tonight. What brought Brind'Amour, they didn't have a pregame, or they didn't have a practice after game 1. They just were in the gym. He did an interview or whatever, and the media was asking him about it. He's like, the media said, well, where are the guys? And he said, we're in the gym. So the fact that he went off the ice, got them away from the rink, just not away from the rink, but in the gym, probably doing video, probably relaxing, getting their heads straight. I think that is a sign of a good coach. You have to do things to shake a team up, especially when you haven't lost a game and you lose game 1 at home. It's going to be in the back of your mind. So maybe they played some games, had some fun, farted around. Rod he's a hard-nosed guy, and you watch him and you see that, but I think he's a softie. I think he loves his players. He loves that organization to death. And he's a different coach in aspects that I think he looks for weird things to do to get people's brains, because it's all mental. We're all head cases. Rod played in the NHL for years. He's a head case. Anybody that plays in the NHL has an ego, has this, has that. And Carolina's ego got really, really taken to the cleaners bad on game 1. So kudos to him for changing it up, getting him off the ice, changing up the routine, because you need to trick the brain every once in a while. And again, it was just really nice to see them come back and be the Carolina that they're. Because I love, like, they're not pretty to watch. You just watch them and you're like, oh, it's so ugly, but they win. And that's the thing. I love winning. I don't care how you win, as long as you win. And again, you want to do it the right way. Obviously, again, you want to do it the right way. But again, he doesn't use one line. He uses all 4. He doesn't use one D-man. He uses all of them. He uses the whole team to do it. And the players love him. Players love playing for him. And I loved what he did after game 1 with that, because as a player, after that first game, like Colorado probably felt the same way. They probably felt, frig, we lost game 1. How does this happen? We haven't lost a game, blah, blah, blah. And again, that's the thing between coaches. I think Rod's a top-notch coach. Bednar has a really good team in front of him, and he's a good players coach. But I think he's been getting out coached by Tortorella big time. So again, it comes down to that. Players do it on the ice, but you have to get them to play your system. You have to, and it's 20 different egos, 20 different mindsets, 20 different people in their lives, kids to adults. Some of the players have children. Some are just turning 18, 19, 20. So to manage all those egos and all the live different lifestyles is really hard. That's why being an NHL coach is very tough, and why only certain coaches can last as long as they do.
Let me ask you, you've played with a good number of netminders in your career, and I'm loath to ask you about netminders, having been a forward yourself, but what is it about Dobeš? What is it that makes him so good? Short stopping is excellent. He's great when that puck gets near him. He's quick. He's instinctive. What is his secret? What is it communication with his D? Is it the way he carries himself? Bear in mind, never been a goalie yourself, but what is it about Dobeš that makes him stand out for you?
So a good question. Again, I think it's a lot of things. He's number one, I think, is he is confident. He thinks he can stop the puck. He thinks he can stop anybody. He feels invincible. And you ask any goalie, when you feel like that, you can feel like that, but then you let in 6 goals and you can't really feel like that again. But this guy, I think he thinks he's invincible. And when you think you're invincible, you're players think you're invincible. And when you players think you're invincible and you think you're invincible, it's just it's a really positive and it's a fun way to play hockey. When your goalie is there and stopping everything, you can maybe cheat a little bit to the offense. You can maybe do something that you might not do if you're not confident in your goalie. The D can step up. They can hold the blue lines. They can, make maybe make a move before they make their first pass. They can try things that they might not normally want to do. Going through the middle is another big thing. A lot of turnovers through the middle of the ice. It's hard to do that, but maybe when you think your goalie can, bail you out, and you just have, when a goalie has the confidence, D have the confidence, forwards have confidence, and it just breathes through the whole lineup. You watch right now, Colorado is not very, they're not confident team, and it's because of the blown leads and stuff like that. So I think Dobeš, everybody's invincible. So confidence is a huge thing, man. When you have confidence, you do things that you don't normally do, and you usually pull it off. When I was at my best, I thought I could pass through anybody. I thought I could put a sauce pass anywhere on the ice on people's tapes. I thought any shots that I would take, and I could never miss. And that's something as a goalie, if you have that, oh man, they're reading you. They're shooting out at you, so you have no angles to shoot at. They're reading your passes, like they're not looking at the puck all the time. Wolf does that all the time. He'll look at the guy's eyes sometimes to see if he's looking to pass. It's amazing. When you feel invincible, it is something that it's pretty awesome. Like, you just feel like you can do anything. So I think Montreal, with his confidence, and he's a younger guys, right? They're not like the older guys where they're like, holy cow, I know I shouldn't make this pass, so I'm not gonna. Like, when you're younger, you have no worries, right? It's
no fear. Yeah, there's no fear about them. Exactly. They're not as battle weary as some of the more experienced campaigners. Did you see there was a restaurant in Montreal called, is it Doubles or Doubles, depending on how you pronounce it? There's a French thing involved. They actually changed their name to Dobeš for the Stanley Cup run. Yeah, awesome. I meant to mention that to you last time. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is awesome. Again, when Calgary was in the playoffs before, there's a place called 17th Ave, and it's called the Red Mile. Back when they were in the playoffs and went to the Stanley Cup, 17th Ave was they blocked it off, and all the restaurants did the same sort of things. Like team guys on the team. Ginla had like 4 restaurants. There was like Ginla Bar and this and that. It's awesome to do that. Montreal is one of the best cities in the NHL. For adopting the Canadiens and adopting playoff hockey and adopting players and making it a city, not just the team. And you watch Dobeš, they friggin' love him there. He talks, have interviews, and the media love him. He is flying high right now, and that's something you have to do when things are going great. Is you need to tell the media, you need to get everybody involved. You have to do that. If you bring a city involved in all that stuff, this not only does the city love you, but again, you just feel like nothing can beat you. And that's something that these guys going to the grocery store, going here, going there, they're getting so much support. And you ask any of them, are fans bugging you? Well, yeah, they are, but you love it. You love when somebody comes up and says, hey, are you, Jade or whatever? Or are you Dobeš?
You loved it in Glasgow, mate. I remember.
I love it. I love when fans like you. Like, I am here to win and to give you a show, and I loved interacting with the fans because I am a kid and I love that. If anybody to sign an autograph, I can't believe anybody would want an autograph from me. So to be able to do that always made me so friggin' happy. And I know the NHL guys, some get uppity and think that they're better, but very few of them are like that. But Dobeš, this is just gravy for him, and his confidence is sky high. So if he can continue that, and Montreal can continue that, Carolina, it's going to be tough. I always said it wasn't going to be a sweep. I knew that for a fact.
Yeah,
I thought 6 games just because of Dobeš.
Let's talk Canes for a second. And Coach Rod Brind'Amour was heaping praise on Nikolai Ehlers, who got not only the go-ahead goal as it was at the time for the Canes, but he got the overtime win in it as well. Just to read some quotes back. It's exactly what we talked about many times this year in reference to Ehlers. He's a special talent, and it was on full display tonight. That was after Game 2. You have a guy, you don't have to change your game, but now you add that piece in there, and all of a sudden, I think we're more explosive. He's a guy who can win the game for you, and I think that's an important element, especially in a game like this. It's tight, and we need that goal, and he's got the ability to basically do it himself, is what happened. Obviously, that's pretty important. I mean, high praise for him, and he was excellent. He was excellent the other night.
So a little story about Ehlers is my cousin loves the Edmonton Oilers, so he had season tickets even though he lives in Calgary. So this was like I think 5 years or 6 years ago, maybe even more. Anyway, Ehlers was a 20 or 21-year-old guy or 22-year-old guy in Winnipeg, and we watched Edmonton versus Winnipeg. And I kind of knew a little bit about him. Never watched any Winnipeg games. I saw him out there. And I was taken back, man. That kid at whatever, 22, 23 years old, however it was, I know he's younger, and he's from Denmark. Yeah. Again, drafted, whatever. That guy was one of the fastest guys I've ever seen on the ice. And he showed me, he had a goal. I was like, holy cow. Like to watch him live to watch him on the TV doesn't do it justice. You watch him live, that guy can move. He's fast. And he knows his role. He's not a guy that's going to dangle everybody. He protects the puck really well. He's got a great shot. Again, his hockey IQ is good. He's not really the playmaker guy, but he's more of a shooter. But that's something that his speed gets him in so many advantages. I love his game. When they got him from Winnipeg, I was like, first of all, how did Winnipeg let him go? And when Carolina got him, I was like, wow, this is to give more speed, to give more. He kills penalties. He's a power play guy. He can play, like he can do every single thing up and down the lineup. And that's something like Carolina has a lot of 200-foot players, and to add a guy like him, what doesn't surprise me at all. I was just waiting, to be honest. I was waiting for him to get his shit together because didn't really notice him much in the other two series, although he didn't have to be the guy he had to be last game. I think he just said to himself, I haven't been doing much. I think he's a pride guy as well. And guys like that, you can't hold down, man. He's got 35, 40 goals a couple times in the NHL with Winnipeg. I know he's a 30-goal scorer for sure. And to be 30-goal scorer in the NHL is friggin' insane too. So to do what he does and play the hard minutes he does, I'm not surprised that he's doing what he's doing, but I just think if he continues to do that, that's just another, and you watch Aho, their first line isn't doing much. Stahl, he's 41 years old or 37 or something like that years old. They were talking about him the other day. Like he's playing against their Montreal's number one line half the time. So their guys are stepping up. They have guys that won Stanley Cups, and that, again, experience just shows through. Stahl, he's a defensive guy. He knows the game. He's scored goals already. He's getting points. He's contributing. And as a coach, a guy that's third, fourth line guy contributing, puts a smile on your face. So I'm praising Carolina a lot. I love Montreal. I think Montreal's days are next year after, and they'll be a Stanley Cup favorite. I guarantee that if everything goes the way that I think it will go. I just think Carolina it's their time right now.
And of course, the World Championships are going on right now. They're in Switzerland. I think the group stage is just about at an end. This is Monday, so I think there's one more day of games, and then it takes a day's break on Wednesday before the knockout stages begin. Great Britain, they're already relegated. Canada, on the other hand, they're going really well in their group. You happy with Canada's progress so far, Jade?
Yeah, again, like I told you before, the World Championships is crazy long. There's a ton of games. They've had 6 games already, and I think have 2 or 3 more or something like that. I think every team plays every team. I'm not sure, but all I know is it's like 8 games they play, or 7 games or something.
7 games, yeah. 8 teams in a group, 7 games, and then...
Yeah. 7. So I think they all have one more. But yeah, again, I've watched a few games, watched a couple Swiss games. They're looking, it's crazy. Like they have quite a few NHLers, but their non-NHL players are it's pretty amazing to watch. Like they got some good NHL players, but again, I played against some Swiss Division I teams, and they have good players, man. They only allow 2 or 3 imports, so the league to be that good they have to develop their Swiss players. I just love their game. Like they could honestly, I could see them getting a medal that their division, they're walking through people pretty easily. And again, Canada's doing their thing. They always do. They're always going to be in the quarterfinals. Usually, always. They're looking really good. Norway, to me, big shocker to be number 2. I watched some highlights of them. They're fast. Like they are fast. And with the big ice teams that are fast, like I'll tell you right now, Latvia is probably one of the fastest teams I've seen in World Championships as every single year. That team is so fast. Every single guy, top to bottom, has NHL speed, could skate in the NHL. And to have NHL speed, team speed, top to bottom, you mix in a little bit of a system and have a good goalie like they do, man, they can do some damage. I think, man, I don't know what they do. If they just are the old Russian 1950s to 80s Russian teams where all they do is do legs for 10 hours a day and they sleep in a complex and do that. I don't know if that's the way it goes, but I played with a few Latvians and they are incredible skaters. They are so, like, it's incredible how well they skate. I don't know if they figure it out, but a little bit of hockey IQ mixed in there and they could do some damage. And obviously their goalies are usually good. They're getting better every year, man. It seems like they're just like, before they were going up and down. Latvia was in the World 1A and down and stuff, and now they're 4th place. Austria 3rd place. Like, I love seeing other teams get up there. I just love to see other countries go up there. I wish the GB could pull something out. Like, they lost to Hungary, which I couldn't believe handily, so that bothered me a bit. But
yeah, GB have lost all their games. They've been shut out in 3 of them. Lost 5-0 to Hungary, as you said. 4-0 to Finland. No disgrace in that. Finland are always a good team. 6-0 to Latvia. You were talking about Latvia there. Yeah. They're playing their last game against Germany as we record right now, so I don't think much is expected. GB are in that limbo between Division 1A, where the last 2 or 3 times they've been in that division, they've either won it or finished second and gone up, but they're nowhere near good enough for the top level. All they can do is do their best. They don't never ever fault the effort of the guys. Knowing a lot of the guys on that squad, they put everything out there. You know, they get likes of Robert Lakovic and all that. 100 caps for him. Yeah. That's brilliant. I sent you that the other night. I'm really pleased.
Yes, I'm so proud of him for that. He played with me as a 16, 17-year-old kid, just a pimple-faced little gross little mustache he was growing, and so funny, but he is salt of the earth kid. He's a man now. In Australia, we got to see each other a little bit. He went down there with his fiance, I think. So I'm very proud of him, Robert. Good work, buddy. Amazing career. Did a fantastic job. Got better every year. And for a guy that's not that big, like like not a big stature, he really made a good career out of it. I wasn't big either, but you know what I mean? He's a littler guy. But again, he does everything well. Great penalty killer. And I'll tell you, they wouldn't have anybody better in a rink in the world. He would be just as good as any. He's such a good team guy. I saw Lacko over in the sea. So again, congratulations, Robert. That's awesome to do 100, world championship. And that's just phenomenal. So I wanted to ask you a question. GB, they have some good, talented guys. I'm wondering, do they have any younger guys coming up the pipe, like a Robert Lakovic and the Nielsen's, guys like that are 17, 18, 19 coming up? Because
I think that's something the head coach Pete Russell's been trying to do these last few games. They've had extra internationals. They've brought guys in. You mentioned the Nielsen brothers. They're 2 great examples. They've come through in the last couple of years. Liam Kirk's still quite young as well. It's just a case of identifying. He's got a chap called Sam Line. He got picked as well over Ivan Bjorkley Nordstrom, who's a young forward from Sheffield Steelers. So Pete is identifying the young players to come in and give them the opportunity. Awesome. It's all about them stepping that up, because they have lost so many experienced guys along the years. Robert Dowd is going to retire after this tournament. Robert Lakovic, for all we've talked really well about him. Maybe a couple of years left from him, if that. Jonathan Phillips retired a couple of years ago as well. So all these guys have been around for a while. Mark Richardson won't stay forever either. So it is a case of identifying all these guys. And I know Pete Russell is very heavily looking into the younger players to bring them in. So definitely looking to find those next players, that next generation who's going to step up.
The British League, man, is I've watched some highlights, watched some games of the last little bit to kind of just learn some players, learn some guys. And the league is getting better and better every year. Like it's something that is going to rival those elite leagues, like the Swedish Elite League, soon. I think it will, because players are wanting to go there now. Better players are going to want to sign there. Again, it wasn't like the old league where they're fighters all the time. My last couple of years, I could see it changing. Guys were wanting to come there all the time, and I left the DEL to go there. Corey got me over. So again, it was one of those things that I think that league is going to get better and better and rival those top leagues. So I'm really pumped to see them. The younger guys, we'll maybe get a chance to bring them back up, right? Yep. And that's what you want. You want your older guys to get you there, and then the other guys, to keep it running. So I think they can get back, and I have no doubt in my mind. It's just, it's a tough decision to as an older player to say, hey, I'm done. Let's let the younger guys go, because loyalties happen. All of those guys the older guys got them there. As a coach, GM, those kind of guys, they don't want to just say, okay, the younger guys are coming in. So guys like Lacko and Dowd, they're stand-up, salt to the earth guys. They're definitely, they know when they're gonna not be able to compete at that level, and let the younger guys come in. So sorry to hear that, but now it's a challenge to get back, which I think they can.
Right, we'll revisit the World Championships in the next edition. Okay, that's where we'll end it on this latest edition of the Galbraith Report. Plenty we've got through there, a lot of fun. And of course, the conference finals continue, and we'll recap what happens in the next show. Jade, been a pleasure as always, sir.
You too, my friend. Awesome. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll do this again soon.
We sure will. Follow us on CWA Ice Hockey, various different platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, what have you. On Substack as well, we'll write some articles up as we go too. But that will do for us, and you can subscribe on any of your preferred podcast providers. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of the week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.